Greetings! My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And welcome back to, well, guess. Last time, we met a person who can supposedly see the future, learned about the people who are apparently bound to us, who we might just want to let die, and also learned that we should really have packed some air from the capital. Oh yeah, and also, another guy died, goddammit. Also, we found some more bodies. It was like 4 or 5 people in the town hall for some reason. So yeah, that's like, what, like 6 or 7 people dead? We've only been here for like 2 hours. If that. My god. Like I said last time, I swear. At the rate we're going, by the end of the week, there's gonna be no one left in this town at all. What the heck is on fire over there? What? What? Why is a woman on fire over there? What the fuck is happening here? Witch burning or something? She certainly, I mean, she seems perturbed about it, but not as much as expected to be. What? And now she's gone. What just happened? What? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, what have you done? How is it? That was no Shabnak, that was a girl, a living girl. Hope you'll find yourself in our place as soon as today. What the fuck? In the fire she's not to burn, for she is made of clay. Wrong, all wrong. Hardened she must and fall apart. Murderer, stop right now or I'll shoot you. What the fuck just... Hey, man. Smells like burning flesh. A mistake then. Gotta keep looking. Come on, fellas, let's find the bitch. Haven't combed my backbone yet. Where's the patrol? Have you murdered them too? Jesus. I see what he meant when that one guy was telling me about how disturbing I might find the local culture. Jesus Christ. Well, this map is very inaccurate. Goddamn. Man, at this rate, it's not gonna be hard to find a murderer around here. It's gonna be hard to find out who isn't a murderer around here. God damn. How long have we been recording? Like 2 minutes? Already things have gone to shit again. Maybe I should go around stabbing random people. Or not random people per se. What about you? You know anything about this? Water, what? Oh. Oh, I get it. I can a bit of bartering, I guess. And I've shot it, damn it. Oh, for these stupid wooden walls. This is reminding me of sunless skies with the fucking walls everywhere. I keep going in the random direction and then stymied because even though I was going in the right direction, I wasn't going in it the right way because there's a wall in the way that I couldn't possibly have known was there. Whatever. Be nice if they were marked on the map, but no. I mean, they were in summer skies, but it didn't help that much because you had to find everything high.
This Haruspex is trying to prove his innocence. It's a no-go.
What the fuck are you talking about? What Haruspex? Or Haruspex. Everyone seems to pronounce it differently. Whatever. Innocence of what? Whatever. So, I finally get to see you. Yes, you really do look like a messenger of sorrowful times. In any case, welcome to the Rod. Our meeting is quite significant in a way. Facing the changes with open eyes and taking their first blow is my duty. Do you think we're on the verge of an especially unhappy era? Yeah, I rather think that's the case, considering how many murders are taking place. It's like comical amounts of murder. No grim events have clouded our existence since last summer. I find that hard to believe considering how eager your people are to burn people alive for the flimsiest of reasons. The country has cured its war wounds. Commercial communications have been repaired. Astrologists expect nothing ill. Do you hold astrologists' opinions in high regard? Sometimes I have to. The movement of the planets has an obvious effect on our life, does it? However, I do not think it's humanly possible to gain any profit from that. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to, sir? I am a ruler. Astrology can be very curious, but I cannot allow it to influence my decisions. That's probably wise. I have to act according to factual circumstances. Would you agree? Definitely.
I will restore the order here, rest assured.
So you've come to meet with Simon, haven't you? What can I do for you now? Well, your thing about restoring order is certainly sorely needed. I was actually invited by Isidore, so I came to meet with him first and foremost. But now it turns out that he's been murdered, yes. Looks like the murderer is always one step ahead of you, doesn't it? The same one that took Simon's life, too. At least that's the conclusion suggested by the information at my disposal. It makes sense, I suppose. The killings were close together, but not so close together as to provide doubt that he could have set them up such a way. Same pattern, same signature. What do you mean same signature? Was there a talon in the was there a broken off talon in Simon's body as well? What does he mean by that? Same pattern, same signature. Or do you mean there was literally a calling card placed there or something? I don't know. Were there any traces? Look, I haven't been there myself. I'm quite content with interrogating suspects. That's probably unwise. You should really look at the crime scene. That should help. Oh, could help a lot. Speaking of looking at the crime scene, especially since we already know who we're after, that's a poor decision to make. Being so certain about who the murderer is could easily cloud your judgment when it comes to new evidence. You can join the hunt, by the way. I can describe his features. There's absolutely no need. As of now, total impartiality is my motto. Yes.
What has this town turned into? Truly a country of contradictions.
Who are the people guarding Isidore's house? They're volunteer patrolmen. We usually keep around 20 of them, but recently I've increased the number, recently to 150 or so. Blimey! That's a lot of patrolmen for such a small town. 150. Really? Why do you need so many? Probably because of all the burnings of innocent people that are going on. Speaking of which, you've got 150 people, or maybe 150, or maybe 100.5 people, but that would just be silly. And you can't keep order around here. I mean, there was burnings going on like right near the place where the murder happened. What the heck are those people doing? Jacking off? There's unrest in the termitary. If I weren't certain that Isidore has been murdered by his son, I would even consider the crime to be politically motivated. Isidore was preparing to take over the kin and become its leader, at least according to the information I have. Well, it could still be politically motivated, frankly. My wife again. What do you mean again? When did he mention his wife? What is the kin? The steppe people who work in the abattoir, many of the factory workmen, an ignorant patriarchal pile that hasn't changed much since the Stone Age. They look human enough, but if you look closer, they're just beasts. Wow, racism. Or maybe classism, I don't know. Believe me when I'm telling you that I'm not snobbish in the slightest, but there's a good reason to call them that. Yes, Isidore has always had the air of a person untouched by civilization. What does that mean? Goodness, Isidore was an educated, modern man compared to them. They revered him, too. He got to know modern knowledge, but never left his people. A complicated man, may he rest in peace. His people. So is it like some... There is not like classism or anything, maybe it's just like a cultural thing. Maybe they're fucking genuine barbarians. I don't know. Yes, I'm sorry about Isidore. I don't like all this. Yeah, that's... Yeah, good. I don't think you're aware of the fact that Isidore came to me last night, just after he had returned, and warned me that there were some ominous events ahead of us. I took that as an unofficial warning about his upcoming takeover. So you took measures? Evidently, I've mobilized patrols. I see what you're implying, Bachelor, but I'm not insane. Engineering Isidore's murder, as a matter of fact, a strong independent kin under Isidore's rule would have been way more useful to me. Really? Why? Because that would weaken the power of the Honorable Vladislav Olgimsky, who's pocketed the economy of the whole town. He'd rather see the kin as a dumb and speechless herd. And come to think of it, well, I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this. Yes. I did. This is precisely what Georgi warned me about. Is it?
This Haruspex is trying to prove his innocence. It's a no-go.
Hey, give me that. Look, as if Simon's death was my fault.
I will...
Okay. So who did it? You wouldn't believe it. His own son. The fellow came back after being away for quite a while. The father had sent him to study surgery when he was but a greenhorn. Quite a lot he has learned, huh? A wandering scholar turned evil to the bone. All of that just to grab the inheritance. Right. How did you figure that out? Yeah. What proof do you have? In all honesty, it's quite hard to explain that to an outsider like you. Do you believe in such a thing as clairvoyance, Bachelor? No. Well, you should get to know my wife, then. Or better yet, those who have already had opportunities to witness the power of her prophecies. Oh, so this is when he mentions his wife. You know, if you're going to make a branching dialogue tree, you should really try and make the dialogue make sense through all the branches, regardless of which path you took. Otherwise, it just is incoherent. I mean, blimey. This dialogue is not exactly the most well written, frankly. Anyways, former doubters, first and foremost. Rationalists. She's got something to say to you, too, by the way. So you do have rationalists in the town. So your wife called out Isidore's son specifically? Not specifically, no. Oh, God. Vague clairvoyance is even worse than regular clairvoyance. It smacks of someone who doesn't actually know what they're talking about, but wants to make it seem like they do, so they give prophecies that make sense regardless. Or alternatively, or perhaps even worse, is the possibility that it's actual, genuine clairvoyance, but just really vague prophecies. Probably ones that, ones that can be interpreted in a million different ways, but only one is actually true. Ugh. And the circumstances of Simon's death make you wonder, too. Isidore's son arrived here last night. The timing speaks against him. It even matches the time it takes to get from the Crucible to Isidore's house. Yes, isn't that in the slightest suspicious? Surely, if he was actually going to murder him, he'd make it seem, not so incredibly obvious. So incredibly convenient, And really, what did she say specifically, though? What were the specifics of her prophecy? Yeah, that's not enough. I'll have to take the investigations into my own hands. Is there anyone who can be of help to me, apart from your wife? There are very few good analysts in our town. Yes, I wonder why. Everyone is more or less superstitious here. But suspicious as well. Except for one Yulia Lyuracheva, perhaps. A most level-headed and reasonable person. The only person to remain skeptical about Katerina's talents, too. Without a shadow of a doubt, she has her own picture of events. She always does. Alright. What is this Yulia? She came here with an engineering team when the town was being rebuilt. Did logistics, or maybe communications, not sure. They said she's a true expert in her field. Smart, yes, a polymath. Then the team left, but she stayed. She has my respect, but not my fondness. Very well, I'll speak to this Yulia. Alright. Intelligent Yulia here. She may be my only ally in my attempt to put the fairy tales of this backwards place to the test of algebra and physics. Indeed.
The outcome was to be expected, I'm afraid.
Alright. That's that then. Alright. Let's talk to his wife, wherever the fuck she is. Is there another door? Not in here. Hey, who are you? What are you doing here? Here we are. Once again, no one's asking us. Gotta smoke. What the fuck does that mean? Ooh. Or do repairs. Eh. Not cheap, but alright. Did that work? Yeah. A good high quality scalpel in good repair is a valuable thing. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Why is this on the floor?
It is as if my temples were pierced with needles. Do something.
The only proper way for a duel to end is with the death of one of the fighters. No, that's not the case. Duels go until until the parties are satisfied with the result. For one thing, most disputes die and no one shoots. But because like there's like people think of duels as being a very simple thing, but they're actually quite complex. There's a whole system of intermediaries and such. A lot of them end with one party being injured, but not actually dead. I mean, in fact, the vast majority of duels probably end before the death of one of the fighters. Now, in a lot of those cases, one of the fighters winds up dying later from their wounds, but still, it's all about them being either injured beyond the point of being able to continue on, or them withdrawing. And or them withdrawing, or the other person, or rather both parties withdrawing for one reason or another. So yeah, the idea of the only way you do to end is the death of one of the fighters, ridiculous. That's what battles are supposed to be. Any conflict that has two sides inevitably turns into a battle of good and evil. No, that's ridiculous. That makes no sense. Why would that even be the case? This is just ridiculous. I never liked black and white mentality. I'm not speaking metaphorically or metaphysically. I'm talking about a very particular battle. No, you were speaking generally, and now you're backtracking. You are one of the combatants, Bachelor Dankowski. Do you favor good or evil? I favor winning. Spoken like a true warrior. I truly wish you victory, Bachelor. Even though I doubt there can be a victory at all in this battle. Thank you?
It's true. The girl has proven that she's a saint, not a killer.
What? You... You are a brave man, Bachelor Dankowski. Why? This fight is very unlikely to end in your favor. Does a clay and bone man-eater leave traces of the kind you've witnessed? Well, it's left behind traces already, the talent for one. It's only a spell, an illusion. They just prefer to see it this way. It makes it easier for them. Yeah, what man-eater? I'm sorry to break it to you, but you will have to fight to the death. Even if it were a metaphor, the ending is still unambiguous. If you don't find out what happened before nightfall, you will die. How do you know all this? And do you even know all this, frankly? This all seems just like useless vagaries. I'm clairvoyant. What's the nature of your visions? This should not be your primary concern at the moment. Yes, it should be. I need specifics. How do your visions work? What specifically are you seeing? The details make all of the difference. Useless vagaries are just that. Useless. It's like it's like squeezing blood from a stone. You should concern yourself with the number of minutes you have left. And that number is dwindling. I don't throw predictions around. You don't... I'm saying doubt you have predictions at all, frankly. They seem very much like cold readings. Others will tell you how often they have come true. Do heed my words. Yes, anyone can guarantee a 100% success rate if they're vague enough. Fine. You know, time will tell. Where was I bouncing on the spot?
It is as if my temples were pierced
the torment.
with needles.
I can't bear it.
Do something.
Shut up. Why don't you take some painkillers then? Do you also think that Simon Kane's death was unnatural? I mean, what do you mean? It was clearly unnatural. No, not at all. How could someone who had absorbed all our blood not die? A single man cannot handle that. There are limits to a living being's vitality, and there are limits to the world's patience. Yes, there are limits to my patience too. Absorb? Simon used to drink human blood? I don't think she's speaking literally. I don't think she's capable of speaking literally. Wait, what do you mean by the limits to a living being's vitality? I think I've heard that somewhere before. Simon transformed our town into a single whole living being. He was the heart, and we were the blood running through the town's veins. We radiated his light. That's why we used to shine so brightly. Remember my heart, how bright I used to shine. The bound are actually bound to Simon. Alright, but what about the limits to the world's patience? What do you mean by that? I cannot elaborate upon this. Of course you can't. It was foolish of me to think that you could possibly be helpful in the slightest. More fool me. I can only feel it. As if this was a heavenly wrath. The payback for all that he had done. The world couldn't stand it anymore. The world must have made someone its weapon, right? Who is to blame for his death? Yes, that's what I'm asking you! Even if someone did have something to do with it, is that person worth blaming? Yes, definitely. Most likely they didn't even realize they were killing someone. What does that even mean? Yes, that's how it was. Now I see very clearly. Good one of us is. Oh yeah, you're clairvoyant. Whatever.
I'm afraid.
Why don't you take some painkillers then? Whatever. Well, she was as useless as I expected her to be. I think I learned all of nothing from her. Well. And I didn't even get permission to look at the guy's body. God damn it. I didn't even bring up the getting access to the damn body. What the heck is wrong with this guy? Whatever. I'll see if I can maybe get in, and if not, I'll just load the save and go by Yulia, I guess. Damn it, this is the wrong way. I just circuitous route. I wish I could cut through the... Wish I could cut through the buildings. Literally, with a hacksaw. Better yet, a chainsaw. Maybe just like, fucking... sneak in through the windows or something. Okay, you got anything more to say? Why don't I just tell them that they let me in? Oh wow, just swinging it to cause it to lose durability. Jesus, that's a pretty aggressive durability system. Either that or it's just losing durability passively over time. That would be ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Yes. I'm still waiting to actually get to do some proper detective work. So far, I've just been wandering around town, I've just been jerked around town from one place to another. From one person who can supposedly help me to another. That's probably the wrong way. It looks like there's a gap there, but that I can exploit, but that probably isn't actually. That's it. 924. I'm guessing time management plays a large part in this game. Dash it all. Yeah. Yep. Note the complete lack of this entire fucking fence system on the map. Jesus Christ. This damn map is more misleading than most thief maps, and that's saying something. Yeah, hope you don't mind that I go through your stuff. Oh, I guess I can't. Hi.
This girl is a changeling. She's not the murderer.
What the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. I seem to have lost any capacity for observation. My mind is out of tune. What's her voice again? My mind is out of tune. Things no longer add up. Before, I had no trouble forming a trustworthy tessellation out of the most imperceptible contingencies. Now, I simply cannot get my head around it. Could it be that I am dying? It happens when people are tired. You probably haven't slept for a while, have you? Oh no. Herba Tavernae is in bloom. I grant you, but then it blooms every year. I didn't mention the herbs? Every year, the steppe is filled with stupefying vapors. They just did not do any work at all when it comes to making sure that things actually follow from every dialogue option, did they? God damn it. This game really needed a second run through QA and a beta reader. Christ. The issue I am having, however, has nothing to do with fatigue or perplexity. It's just that I've lost my ability to make distinctive events coincide. What herb is that? No matter what preternatural traits the locals ascribe to it, Twire... What do you mean Twire? That... What? Whatever. Is all heady aroma. A bunch of superstitions and remarkably little else. It has psychoactive properties after a fashion, but then so does simple wormwood. Visions caused by ingestion of belladonna or Jimson weed are much more fascinating than what Twire has to offer. It's a pity I'm not a botanist.
What?
So, you have traveled all the way here, only to find that both people you wanted to see were brutally murdered. Is this how the story goes? More or less, but you forgot all the other murders. I do hope your visit is not in any way related to these most unfortunate circumstances. Sadly. Let's see, I have no... Investigative inquiry. Alright. I doubt I can do it on my own. Tell me plain and simple. What do you make of all this? I've yet to meet anyone who can help me in the slightest way to find the killer. Do you like even... What? That's a non sequitur. Let's do it. Very much. It wouldn't be very much of a stretch to say I absolutely admire her. Weird. I expected you to have a different opinion of her. Yeah, same here. I certainly admire her in the... in the sense that one would admire a... Well, let's not say any more of that. I expect you have a different opinion of her. She dons the mask of absent-minded promiscuity, but this pose has nothing to do with what she really is. I'd be happy to be friends with her, but she does not understand me. And rightfully so, considering her eminence. Rightfully so? What does that mean? I can't believe my ears. I don't understand. Sooner or later, a fervent believer may emerge from within her, dissolving her completely in the object of her adoration, after which she will probably kill herself. But I'd rather talk no more of that. What? What does that mean? Alright, whatever.
As the mind endeavors to reach one goal, the heart insensibly drags us towards another.
I guess. Right, I've yet to meet anyone who can help me in the slightest way to find the killer. Do you have any relevant experience? Do you know how a murderer may be found? Not really, but I hunt the killer of all killers in my laboratory. Incidentally, it is more than possible that the killer is hiding in the house of Anna Angel, a thespian of sorts. Here is another woman worthy of attention. In fact, I heard some ghastly man covered in blood was seen entering her house today. Oh, interesting. How do you know this? Presumably she heard it in the movie mill. What kind of woman is this Anna Angel? Or Angel. Why did I say Angel? I struggle to imagine a person whose name is less reflective of her inner self. An unforgiving description. Alright, so there's a bloodied man hiding in her house. Where would that be? She lives in a mansion that once belonged to a family of exiles, whose political views led them to a far-out town like ours. But because of some ill-conceived sense of camaraderie, they were happy to give shelter to a runaway actress, as soon as she told them she was persecuted by the powers that be. A few years later, they died, suspiciously if you ask me, leaving Willow Mellow, their daughter, in the care of their companion. Willow died soon thereafter. Mysteriously? They all died of natural causes, allegedly, even though Willow was buried in a tightly closed coffin. The body was examined by Isidore Burke, however, and he is not a man who would cover up a crime. Allegedly. Anyway, you would do good to take a look at the house yourself. The mansion is known as the Willows. It stands by the gullet, in Earth. Well, yes, I would imagine it's on this planet. What does that mean, in Earth? Anna, huh? Well, I'll get to know her. The Willows serves as the residence for a singer called Anna. Singer? I thought she was an actor. Her last name, Angel, has a curious ring to it. Yulia believes that the suspected murderer may be hiding here. Alright. Good to know, I guess.
This girl is a changeling. She's not the murderer.
Alright. Tell me plain and simple. What do you make of all this? So I have heard... Oh, probably I doubt I can do on my own part. That's what she was referring to. A wisecrack I know says that while you are trying to complete the portrait of the killer is busy painting yours. Hilarious, is it not? The hunter becomes the hunted. In my experience, that's not really the case. The killer is usually more concerned about, you know, not being found than outright hunting the hunter, you know? Because the thing is, most criminals, they just lay low for a while, and the police never find them. It's usually the best thing to do is to just go out, you know, hide the evidence, and then just act like nothing happened. Well, outside of, you know, the usual, oh no, it was such a shame that person died, or whatever. And most people just never get caught. I should know. However, to put it bluntly, you have become the keynote of this particular plot. The intrigue is so rich it will keep you busy for a while, if not longer than that. Huh. Oh, really? And you are singing the same tune too? First they plot some clairvoyants before me. Oh, I take it you've met Katerina already? I urge you to take her prophecies seriously. Wait. I thought you were like the one skeptic around here. God damn it. You see, as dubious a factor as any prophecy is, Katerina's were always frightfully spot on. Which means we should not arbitrarily disregard them, if nothing else. Always spot on. So far, all she's given me are very vague bullshit. Whatever. Things like this can drive you mental, especially with a backdrop of primitive relics. The world is defined by a plethora of causal relationships. These causalities, however, are located at different tiers of human perception. There is a tier where people may change them instinctively, due to their inane propensity for acting in a reasonable, egocentric manner, and the scale of this tier is negligibly insignificant. In layman's terms, catching a glass before it touches the floor does not mean the glass wouldn't break within the next few minutes. I guess that's true. That might be true. Elaborate on that, please. I don't understand. Take my own death, for instance. I was unaware that you died. It depends on a myriad of contingent coincidences. In our town, such coincidences have put together several women whose inexplicable aptitude allows them to see the whole chain of cause-effect connections. They also see where the chain would lead, which is to my death. How's that for an example? Well, if you can see the whole chain and all that, then it would be a simple matter to simply break or replace some of the links in it, would it not? Just make small alterations. After all, as you said, it depends on a myriad of contingent coincidences. Take away one of those, or even a few, and suddenly everything is different. So, if they really can see the futures or see all the chain of cause and effect, then surely they'd well, for one thing, the Savarov family wouldn't be dwindling like it is, unless that's preferable to the alternative for Katerina. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, what about free will? Can't the people that can affect this tragic event change the course of causes and consequences? Yeah, especially if warned. If a mistress were to intuit that there is no man or woman capable of breaking or mending these kinds of connections, she would not hesitate to reveal the future. Her account would be exhaustive at times, but it is more likely to be somewhat vague. This is merely speculation, though. I won't be surprised if reality proves to be much more terrifying than that. What? What? None of what you just said makes any sense. Oh, good heavens. To think this woman has been introduced to me as a skeptic and an analyst. If you want my advice, I wouldn't trust what our feudals tell you. Finally, some sense. The perpetual triangle of influence means that every party concerned will do their best to use your authority to their own benefit. I'm not that conceited. Perhaps people of lower standing would not try to use me. It is more likely that people of such standing will be much too scared to cooperate. Given your position, you may want to try your luck with the shadow cabinet of local nobility, the women of influence. They know much more than the simple townsfolk, yet they care much less than the families in power. Alright then. Who are these lady aristocrats? My position. You came from the capital, and your arrival hardly qualifies as a coincidence. Then there is this trepidation Maria seems to have towards you. She who excels in dark arts and scornful mockery. Dark arts. What is she, a witch? Her interest has furnished you with a certain elusive notoriety. Some people thought you were nothing more than Maria's private incubus, a fruit of her imagination. And then, here you are, in the flesh. Alright then, who are these influential ladies? You know, the one redeeming factor of all this ridiculousness is that at the very least, the player character seems to... I can actually have the player character respond with, you know, this is ridiculous, what the hell are you talking about, sort of response. So at the very least, the writers seem to be aware that all this is bizarre and incoherent. And the main character seems about as done with this as I am. Laura, Eva, yours truly. And last, but not least, Maria. I wouldn't listen to Katerina if I were you. Her morphine habit has turned her into a walking corpse. The others, however, are liable to deceive. You don't like being lied to, do you? I can't say it. It's better to die than to lie. I wouldn't go that far. Can't say I care all that much. I can live with it. Alright then. What's that? Oh. Look at this. What? I don't know what that screen means. I got something. There's something that changed. I don't know, was that icon like an autosave or something? What are the keys again? Ah, diary. What? Hang on, what? There are those who would believe that if I am unable to pinpoint the murderer by nightfall, then I am destined to become the next victim. What? said that? I don't remember anyone saying that. Alright,
As the
anything
mind
actually useful?
endeavors to reach one
Alright.
goal,
Could you tell me about
the
Lara?
heart.
I'd rather not speak on the matter. You will know Lara well enough as soon as you meet her. My relationship with her is complicated. And why is that? They say that Lara is an angel, an epitome of benevolence and compassion. Yeah, usually anyone who has a reputation like that is probably a weirdo. Yeah. A real Mother Teresa type, if you get what I'm saying. If you don't, look up Mother Teresa. You may be surprised. She sees everyone as a friend. She is too eager to help, too happy to oblige. After her father died, she turned the Ravel Mansion into the most hospitable and heartwarming place in town. Long story short, Lara is believed to be the kindest woman of us all. However, that's not true. She is a woman devastated by grief. All the gifts that she is too happy to give away are, fundamentally, offerings to a dead person. She favors the living with something the dead have no use for. Really? Her philanthropy... Philanthropy? You mean philanthropy? Is almost reprehensible. She pities everyone she comes across, for she knows they will all die just like her dearly departed. She sees a corpse in everyone she looks upon. I can't say I appreciate it. But that being said, she will certainly be of great help to you in your inquiry. I see. He lied.
This girl is a changeling. She's
Shut
not
up.
the murderer.
Alright, I have to find whoever it is that killed Isidore and Simon, and I wanted to ask for your help. Severov told me you have a gift for all manner of investigative inquiry. I am certainly no better investigator than you. I never had a chance to search for a murderer before. The best I can offer is to fill in the blanks with whatever mysterious supernatural entities seem most fitting. Shabnakadir is the simple man's scarecrow. I would have followed a different narrative. What kind of narrative? Considering the circumstances of his death. They said Simon had locked himself up in the evening, and consequently died in the morning inside the mansion, in a chamber with some peculiar name. In this case, I would suggest that Simon was poisoned. That's a possibility. Maybe... He apparently had signs of great suffering and a twisted neck and everything, but that could be that could just be due to it being a particularly painful death, though. Like, maybe he was writhing in agony as he died and tripped and fell and broke his neck. That's a possibility. Well, I'll write it down. By the Canes, I would have thought, but I know their family all too well. Their mutual loyalty is only rivaled by their arrogance towards anyone who is not one of them. They hold the princely sage who stands at the head of their family in highest esteem. They believe that a single dishonorable act will tarnish their name for generations to come. I doubt any of them would have stooped to this, no matter whether they wanted to or not. Poisoned. How did you arrive at this conclusion? I don't believe you understand what "he died in the focus" really implies. Do you know what the Canes refer to as focus? You don't seem to grasp the semantics of this term. These are the Canes for you. These kinds of innuendos are their forte. Well, stop just telling me that I don't know what it is and tell me what it is. Well, what is this focus then? The focus is anything but an abstraction. Quite the opposite, in fact. It is governed by mathematically rigid regularities. You see, no one but the owner of a focus may get inside. This can only mean that Simon had brought the killer with him, or rather, within him, since no physical object may be brought into focus either. What? Wait. How does that work, though? If a person can get into it, how can physical objects not get into it? I mean, what's the difference? Like, imagine if he was holding a bottle of poison and took it in, and why would that not work compared to him holding the poison inside his body? Like, could he not wear clothing either? What are you talking about? How do you know that? Who doesn't? The Canes are notoriously passionate about all manner of synthetic anomalies. What is this? Fucking SCP Foundation? They will never pass up the opportunity to devise a Kunstuk, I don't know, that would allow them to warp space, challenge physics, or manipulate optics. Metaphysically, a focus can be compared to a camera obscura. Do note that the name is not unfitting. No, it is entirely impossible for someone to get inside. Then how did he get inside? For the record, a camera obscura is sort of like a darkened room with a hole on one side, which an image is projected through. Actually, the human eye, and those that of quite a few other animals, works a lot like a camera obscura, with the pupil being the opening, with the and a convex lens and all that, and the retina being the surface where the image is formed. So yeah, not yeah. A curious conclusion, but an incorrect one. Simon was disfigured and bleeding. His bones were broken. Is that so? Well, this does introduce a different perspective. Did you say Isidore was the last person to see Simon? The question is, who did he see before? The sun had not yet set when Isidore returned from the steppe. However, he came to Simon well after midnight. The question naturally arises, where did he spend the missing few hours? This is why I'm trying to trace Isidore's steps. I want to walk the same route. Don't get me wrong, though. Do you know all that? I think you still fail to grasp the entirety of your predicament. The rumors spread like wildfire here. One of the children saw Isidore come home. They were waiting by the entrance, eager to hear a step story or two. So your prosecution of Isidore's son isn't based on the testimony of a child? That is what Saburov claims. Was Isidore seen with Saburov by any chance? Yeah. He was. He warned Saburov of an upcoming storm. Alright, let me suggest then, that while he was in the steppe, he saw or learned something that he wanted to report to all three ruling families. In this case, either of the Olgimsky family should have been on his itinerary, especially since Burke was one of their own men. Was he? Definitely. The Bull Project, the what? From the abattoir to the railway, is controlled by the Olgimsky family. If Isidore's discovery had anything at all to do with the kin, Isidore would have certainly related it to Vlad. So do make sure to pay a visit to the lump. That's the name of Olgimsky's manor. Another fitting name, wouldn't you agree? I don't know. Thank you, Yudia. What would I do without you? Be far less confused, frankly. The lump. The mansion belonging to the Olgimskys, a family of factory owners. The 50-year-old Vladislav, how do you know that? Its housefather is called Vlad the Heavy by the locals for his bad temper. The Heavy for his bad temper?
My
What?
chest seems to be filled.
Okay then. So what did we learn? Good question! Okay. We know that we suspect that the Olgimskys might have something to do with Isidore's murder. We've raised the idea of poisoning, but it doesn't seem likely due to the broken bones. Aside from that, I'm not sure what we've gotten other than useless vagaries. Okay. Okay. The Willows has apparently a bloody man taking refuge there. Might be the murderer. I don't know. Shelter has Laura Revel, who might prove invaluable. It says Olginsky. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Gonna swing by there. Then go back here to there. And then swing around there. Maybe it'll be more efficient to go through to there. Let's see. No, I think this is a shorter way to go there. Certainly less confusing. Okay, we'll do that then. Anything else? Alright. I'll also talk to her again later. Alright. But this episode is already getting long. Sorry. Already getting close to an hour. I think we should stop here. As you can see, this is very much in the vein of Sunless Sea, where a lot of the gameplay is just me reading out text. But that's hardly a bad thing. At least, well, it might be. Maybe if you really don't like my voice, it is. Or if I wouldn't blame you, considering my microphone quality is not the greatest, but it's not ear rape, so we'll be fine. You'll live. But this town certainly won't. Alright. I'll leave you. But without any further ado, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. So long, suckers.